And now, ladies and gentlemen, with the most famous words in the world of motorsports, here's today's Grand Marshal, Mr. Carroll Turner, Purchasing Manager for Goldston's Building Supply in Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Gentlemen, start your engines. In 1997, a field of NASCAR Busch Series cars have been given the command. 40 cars roar to life as NASCAR action is next. Many call today's race the Mark Martin Invitational. He's won 5 of the last 7 Busch races run here. Grand National Champion Randy LaJoie hopes to rebound from a dismal day in the desert. Experience and consistency have put Todd Bodine atop the series point standing. But it's fast Phil Parsons, that is, that sits second and is poised to pounce. All his life, they've called him Green. Now Jeff's a winner, having rolled the big numbers last week in Vegas. But it's his Diamond Ridge teammate that everyone is calling a diamond in the rough. Yes, 21-year-old Elliott Sadler has tons of talent. But will that be enough today at Darlington, a place that's earned the name as the track too tough to tame?
I want you fans to listen for one thing and watch for one thing today. Listen to how much we talk about experience and watch for it to have its effect on the racetrack. On the pole is Elliott Sadler. His experience here at Darlington, 1 race, just 143 laps. Next to him is his teammate, Jeff Green. His Darlington experience, just 6 races, his best finish, a 7th. In row 2 is Ricky Craven, but his car did not make it through post-qualifying inspection. He'll go to the back of the field. That brings up to row 2, Jeff Burton. 10 races here, a best finish of 8th. And outside the second row is Mark Martin. 18 races here, 5 wins, including last spring in this race. Also, he's the only guy in the field that has ever won this event. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bill, Phil Parsons got a second-place finish here at Darlington back in 1989. That day, he was second to Harry Gant. What about Randy LaJoie? He finished second here also. That day, it was Mark Martin who won the race. Another driver in the top of the points this year is Todd Bodine. He finished 3rd here back in 1991. That day, he got beat by Dale Earnhardt. So the Winston Cup drivers definitely have a big advantage in this race. The Winston Cup regulars are here. The Busch Grand National regulars are here. And also a few Darlington rookies. More on that, let's go to Kyle Petty.
Well, 2 drivers with very, very little experience here are Tim Steele and Steve Parks. Tim Steele is a rookie in this car. He ran it last week for the very first time at Las Vegas. He brought it home 5th. He's got extensive experience in ARCA, but none here. Steve Parks, on the other hand, has extensive experience in the modified division. Trucks just scared me, sorry about that. In the modified division, but no experience here. They've run Atlanta, they've run Daytona, they've run Rockingham, they've run at Richmond. All that experience in these Busch cars makes no difference when you get to Darlington. You can throw it all out the window. 10,000 laps everywhere else mean nothing. These guys need experience, and they're going to get it today.
ESPN, the world leader in motorsports, presents Speed World. Today, from the granddaddy of them all, historic Darlington Raceway, it's the 15th annual NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Diamond Hill Plywood 200. What a day, beautiful weather, good crowd on hand, and a great field of race cars. Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Punch, along with former Winston Cup champions Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons. You know, since 1950, the stock car contingent have been coming here to Darlington. And since 1950, this racetrack has continued to earn the nickname as being too tough to tame. And Ned, why is this track just so tough?
The egg-shaped design of it, Jerry, certainly is one of the factors. It was built for speeds under 100 miles an hour. Now they're running close to 170 miles an hour on this racetrack. There's very little room for error. If you make a little bit of a mistake, you're going to be in big trouble on this racetrack. You're either going to be into the wall or into another car.
Well, when it comes to Darlington, drivers have a tough time agreeing on anything, but Benny Parsons, most agree that here you do not race each other.
No, you simply cannot race other cars. You have to race the racetrack. You've got to race the racetrack. If you try to race other cars, you're going to make contact. You're going to be in the wall. And these newcomers, Steve Park, the 4-car Tim Steele, all the other rookies, they need to run the entire distance and learn something about this old lady, because she is a toughie.
Well, the entire distance today means 200 miles, 147 laps. 40 cars will start our look at the Suzuki starting grid. On the pole, 21 years of age, his second pole of the 1997 season, Elliott Sadler. Beside him, his teammate, Jeff Green.
Row 2, Ricky Craven will go to the back of the field as Bill Weber said, and Mark Martin, the favorite in the race. Back in row 3, Jeff Burton and the local favorite, Ron Barfield.
Row 4, we have Dick Trickle and Hermie Sadler. Row 5, we see Todd Bodine and Mark Green.
Back in row 6, Lyndon Amick, a rookie driver. There's the series defending champion, Randy LaJoie. Back in row 7, Tim Fedewa. And beside him, Jason Keller, who came so close at Richmond.
And there's Phil Parsons and Mike Dillon. In row 9, Glenn Allen and Kevin LePage.
Row number 10, Ted Musgrave making a rare appearance in Busch competition, and Jeff Fuller in car number 47. Row number 11 is Tim Steele and the other rookie, Steve Park.
Back in row 12, we'll show you Tracy Leslie and Tim Bender. Back row 13, side by side, a rookie driver, Jeff Krogh, and Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin.
And in row 14, Rodney Combs, the first ride in the 78 car, and Shane Hall. Row 15, we find Greg Sachs and Joe Bessie.
Row number 16, we have Rick Wilson, car 75, and Mark Krogh.
Row 17, Elton Sawyer. There's Buckshot Jones, a 00. Back in row 18, Nathan Butke and David Hutto out of the Nash Series ranks.
And then we find Dennis Setzer and Stevie Reeves. Back in row 20, the last row, Johnny Chapman and Jimmy Foster.
And
three of the cars have dropped to the back of the field. Mike Dillon crashed yesterday afternoon. Jeff Krogh crashed yesterday afternoon. And the 2 car of Ricky Craven, as Bill Weber said, in post-qualified inspection, he has to go to the rear of the field.
Field out of turn 4, 147 laps, 200 miles. Glad to have you with us for Busch Grand National Series action at the track Too Tough to Tame. Side action, Kevin LePage up high.
Looked like Steve Park might have got in the wall. And Tim Steele, that Steele, someone is very, very slow. Yes, it is. And look at these cars on the bottom, on the apron of the racetrack.
And it looks like Elton Sawyer's car, the car number 38, might have the bumper ripped off the back of it.
And I saw Shane Hall going towards the garage area in the 85 car. There we see the Barbasol car you're talking about with a rear bumper.
See if we can see what happened to Elton Sawyer here on the first lap.
They just stack up going in the corner. Really and truly, that's a one-groove corner, and they all try to go in there. And there we see Shane Hall smack the wall. There's Rodney Combs and the car in front of him. That looks like Tim Bender also in the wall.
Okay, Elton Sawyer, the back of the frame. You see the part of his bumper just flapping in the breeze right side of your frame in the car number 38. So a tough break for Elton, who had a great run at Atlanta, finishing second.
And he's been black flagged, Jerry. Last time around, NASCAR officials gave him the black flag. He'll have to come in and get that bumper torn away.
And the 85 car is also on pit road right in front of you, Ray.
Yeah, Jerry, the right side of this race car damaged quite a bit. The left front tire also with some damage on it. They've taken the tires off the right side. They're going to replace those, try to get Shane Hall back in the race.
We're continuing on Shane Hall's car. Meanwhile, there comes the car number 38 down pit road of Elton Sawyer. Part of that Kevlar carbon fiber bumper, the Barbasol part that's sort of flapping in the breeze. He brings that car to a halt on pit road in front of Bill Weber.
And they're trying to yank off that bumper cover. Tough break for Elton Sawyer. 15 points on a fire on pit road last week in Las Vegas. The bumper's off. Elton's back out. Down the last. Guys, it early.
Good battle here. The 94 car, Ron Barfield, and the former defending series champion LaJoie. Makes it look easy.
Yes, going in the third corner. That's the way you have to attack that third corner, one car at a time, Ned.
You cannot go in there side by side as many cars as we saw in that first lap. That mistake that we talked about at the top of the show, Dave will jump up and get you. That's all it is.
The lead of the race, the number 8, Jeff Green, the winner last week in Las Vegas. And Elliott Sato, the pole sitters, broke out of this in third spot. And folks, Mark Martin, that car that he won 3 in a row wasn't quite good enough, so they built a brand new car. This number 60 Winn-Dixie Ford, brand new today.
Can you imagine if it's better than those that he's dominated with here in the past?
Heavy racing, heavy traffic all over this racetrack. You saw a moment ago Jeff Burton trying to challenge for the 3rd position. Here's racing back to the pack. There's Jeff Fuller, car number 47, zipping by. He was one of the quicker cars in practice and had a little trouble getting the car qualified.
It's Greg Sachs right behind him trying to take the spot away, as we see from our helicopter camera.
There you can see that whole train all the way around. As you pan around to coming off of turn 4, the lead pack there. 5 cars sort of broken away a little bit from the 6th place car of Todd Bodine.
That shot from the Pennzoil copter cam high above the historic Darlington Raceway. Jeff Green, Mark Martin, and the challenge now for 3rd spot as Jeff Burton tries to make a look inside the 21-year-old driver. Elliott Sadler in 3rd spot. 7 laps are complete. 140 to go here at the track. Too tough to tame. Exciting Busch Grand National Series racing action still to come your way. Stay with us. Back at Darlington Raceway, Darlington, South Carolina. Early lap for Diamond Hill Plywood 200. Our leader is the car number 8, Jeff Green, in 2nd, Mark Martin. But here's the battle we're watching for 3rd position. The yellow car, number 9, that is Jeff Burton, the track gear Ford, putting a huge challenge on the 29 car of Elliott Sadler.
I think Burton's car is a little bit faster, Jerry, but so far he hadn't been able to make that move.
All clear. All clear. He's just messing with you now. Keep your head on. Doing a good job.
Once again, Keith Barnwell, the spotter for Elliott Sadler, the number 29 car. Trying to keep the driver.
Looking low. Inside. Inside. He's there. Got another one. Got another one. You're clear behind Trickle. Fall in there with Trickle and we're going to be all right. Nice job, Elliott. Nice job. Let's just keep digging.
Talking about Dick Trickle. That's a 64 car, the Duralube machine that Trickle is driving.
I see the 34 car is Mike McLaughlin. Looks like 35 of Lyndon Amy. Following Greg Sachs, the 45 car.
That's 21st, 22nd, and 23rd right there. Those cars about halfway behind the leader. There's the lead pack. About a half a lap ahead of him. Jeff Green in the car number 8, fresh from that win at Las Vegas. And Mark Martin trying to go for 4 Busch Series wins in a row. Meanwhile, one driver who isn't having a good day is standing by with Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, the first car out of the race today, Shane Hall in the Bama Chevrolet. On the outside, Shane, the car doesn't look that bad, but evidently some damage that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, you know, it's we've got a track car and things tore up. We'll try to fix it, get back out for the Bama folks. We hated those one of our 5 races, and you know, just got a little anxious there on the start. Somebody got in the left front of us, but we'll see if we can get back out here and see if we can run a few laps.
Well, this track really is too tough to tame.
It has been. It has been a tough racetrack for us. It sure has. So we'll come back here in the fall and see if we can do a little better.
Well, he hopes to get the Bama Chevrolet back in the race. They're working on it right now.
All right, tough break for Shane Hall, trying to get his car back up, pick up some very valuable Busch Series points.
And LaJoy, the 74 car, looking on the inside of Herman Sadler. Takes the spot away. It's Ron Barfield, the Mark on the 94. New Holland Ford, local driver. A lot of folks in the grandstands pulling for that young man today.
There's the battle back up front, Chevrolet and Ford.
Then I would think right now that Mark Martin is just content to ride.
I believe he is. Denny, he wants to save those tires. The tires take a pretty good beating here at Darlington, especially because you're in the turn so long between turns 3 and 4, and they go away as far as the speed is concerned. The more you run on them, the more heat you get in them. And so I expect he's conserving those tires as much as he can and just sort of doing it right now. Maybe Phil Parsons doing the same thing. Looked like he just moved over and let the car go by.
Ted Musgrave in the 40 car. First time ride in that 40 car for Musgrave.
That's a car owned by Doug Taylor. And that's the view Phil Parsons has from the channel lock in-car camera.
Well, maybe Mark's decided it's time to go.
He wants it now. If he wants it, we'll let him have it.
Spotter for the 8 car says, now if he wants it bad enough, let him go. Once again, race the racetrack, Jeff. Don't worry too much about Mark Martin.
Well, Mark Martin
Jeff,
may
he's
have...
backing out a little more than you down here in 1, kind of staying on the bottom of it. You're looking good.
Now, Jeff Burton had fallen pretty far behind them, and here he is right up on Mark Martin's back bumper. So he's on the go.
That that may have been what prompted Mark Martin a moment ago to try to make a move on Jeff Green, and now Burton makes the move past Martin. Martin said, well, I think I'm just going to save my tires, let you go get him.
Yeah, I think that's a mark of a guy who has won here before and knows what it takes to win. Mark Martin just moved over and didn't fight Jeff Burton at all.
And if you just joined us, Mark Martin has won 5 of the last 7 Busch races at Darlington, and that's incredible anywhere but really here at this racetrack.
And he's won the 3 races, 3 of the 4 he's competed in 1997. He did not go to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway last week. There's your 4th place car, Dick Triple, the Darlington Chevrolet.
And Todd Bodine has now moved up into 5th place in the Stanley Tools car number 36.
That's a Pontiac for Bodine. There, left side of your screen, top 10. Bodine is in 5th. LaJoie now being shown in 6th position. Elliott Sadler back in 7th.
And Hermie just passed his little brother. In 1 car, Hermie Sadler goes by Elliott Sadler, the 29. And the 94 car also going to take a look on the inside of her pole sitter this afternoon. Elliott Sadler, the 29.
We told you Sadler has been here once before last year. Had a pretty good finish, but this is a racetrack you need, as Ricky Ricardo would say, experience. You need a lot of laps here to understand what happens at this racetrack, and that's why you see guys like Mark Martin, who have been here a lot of times, tiptoeing in the early laps, and Elliott Sadler probably getting a lot of very valuable experience, even though he's getting passed or about to be passed for the 9th position.
If you go out and go around this racetrack and get a car set up pretty good and you make a fast lap and you say, man, I got that thing figured out. No, you haven't got it figured out. You got to make a lot of laps on this racetrack to figure it out. I'm not sure after you make all those laps that you got to figure it out.
There we see the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. LaJoie looks like in the 74 car looks to be awfully fast right now, Ned.
His car is getting through the corners good, getting a good run off the turns. That's very important here at Darlington. Yes, his car is good.
LaJoie, that disappointing 29th place finish in Las Vegas. Talking about the car number 74. He is the defending Busch Series champion. The car he's chasing, the yellow Pontiac, is the current Busch Series point leader, Todd Bodine.
There he backed up going into turn 3 to get him a good running start off turn 4, and he was able to make that pass going into turn 1. He's figured out how to pass here at Darlington.
Well, Randy LaJoie is on a move. He has run here 7 times, has 3 top 5 finishes, and now finds himself just outside of the top 5. After 22 of 147 laps, Jeff Green is our leader. We'll be right back with more from Darlington after this. Our Speed World coverage of the Diamond Hill Plywood 200 at Darlington. The track too tough to tame is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Econoline, spend the night, not a fortune. And by Valvoline Durablend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil.
And we have a battle for the lead shaping up. The white car is the leader, 8, Jeff Green. And the yellow, number 9, is Jeff Burton, the track gear Ford. They go by Stevie Reeves, and here might be the place. And Burton almost spun as he tried to turn under the 8 car and got his little Ford very loose.
No caution, keep digging.
And there is Tim Steele spinning around in car number 4 off turn 2. Now caution is coming out. Tim had moved up to 18th from his 21st starting position, so he picked up a few positions.
And there is some damage to the left front. Just, I guess, slight damage with the nose of the car. And I'm told that Tim Steele is going to drive the 4 car the remainder of the year for James Finch.
There's Carl Simmons waving the caution flag, and there's the damage on the front of the HS Dye Simlink Chevy Monte Carlo of Tim Steele, a car owned by James Finch.
There we see just a little bit of contact between the 34 and the 4. And around goes the 4. And the roof flaps work like a champ.
And when the car was turned backwards, those roof flaps came up to help to keep the back end on the ground. Here it is. Here it is again, coming off of turn 2. Just a little bit of a tap from Mike McLaughlin in car number 34. And around he goes. He tries to get it stopped before he gets to that wall, but can't quite do it. There he makes the contact.
He was running in 17th position, the defending and two-time ARCA Series champion. Had that great run at Las Vegas. Last week finishing 5th in his initial ride in this Chevrolet owned by James Finch. And now they will bring the car down pit road to Johnny Allen and the crew to see if they can try to repair some of the damaged nose on that Chevy Monte Carlo.
Looks like the front end is knocked out of alignment. Let's go to Kyle Petty.
Yeah, he's brought it to a stop here. The left side tires are flat. I can't see the right side, but right side's got to be down because they're trying to pick the car up. That's the one thing Johnny told them before they started over the wall. We're going to have to pick this car up. They're going to change right sides. The front drove in pretty hard. It really doesn't look like he's hit with anything other than just the front end. The wheels seem to be the same. The steering wheel is the same. It looks like the steering wheel's the same. Down to Bill Weber.
Now watching experience on pit road. Jeff Green is in. Mark Martin right in front of him. Right side tires for both cars. Now they come around to the left side on the 8 and the left side on the 60 as well. Green looking straight forward at the 60 while his team puts on the tires, cleans off the grill. A little trouble on the left rear. That's going to cost Mark Martin's away. Now Green has to dodge a tire.
Gotta go hard now. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard to the backstretch. Follow them guys.
One is in the Royal Oak Chevrolet. They're changing the right side tires on this. McLaughlin stayed back at the shop this week to work on the race car that they damaged out at Las Vegas while the team brought the race car here to Darlington. Right sides are on, left sides are going on, so it'll be 4 tires for Mike McLaughlin.
All right, the Royal Oak crew gets the car off the jack. They are down and away. First caution flag. Service continues 55 miles an hour. They will come down that backstretch pit, which the next time we come here will become the front straightaway pit. They will reverse the racetrack as the field now behind the Pontiac safety car. Pontiac Grand Prix leads him down as lap number 30 clicks away. Talking about this historic facility from our Pennzoil copter cam, we can show you there is the start-finish line as it has been since 1950 when Johnny Mantz took the green and checkered flag to win the inaugural Southern 500. When we come back here in September, everything will be shuffled as far as the start and finish to there, the back straightaway, which will become the front stretch. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, we talk about experience on the track. Here it is on pit road. This is the pole sitter, Elliott Sadler. He missed his pit. He now sits on pit road. They're doing some work underneath the rear end of the car, but Elliott came down pit road, did not see the sign, and had to make another lap. Now he sits on pit road. Looks like they were taking a spring, maybe out of the rubber out of the rear spring. They're both on the left rear, watching for the pace car. Pulling the tape off the front. Now they drop it. Now he's back on his way. This team had 2, well, pretty disappointing pit stops.
Yes, I know.
Last week in Las Vegas. Let's listen in.
Oh, the blend line. That socket ain't deep enough. All right, come on, let's get it again. We got to pin again, guys. Let's do it.
They got some kind of problem, Bill. Did they take some tape?
Go hard.
Did they have the air ducts for the brakes taped up and they had to take that off?
Hurry up, boys.
Benny, they're going to bring him back in, and that could be the problem. We're going to check it out and find out from the crew.
Okay.
Watch the speed of it. Cool, we're going to play it now. Race car just in 2.
You see, look at the nose of that car. Unless they're getting air for the brakes through the grill, then I would think that air's
Middle of the backstretch, Sandy. All right, let's do it, guys.
I don't see
Get it, Jack.
brakes.
What we're trying to do here, Benny, is disconnect the rear sway bar.
I got you.
5 nuts.
You can listen to the crew talking.
Middle of 3 and 4.
That's where the pace car is.
Turn 4. All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. Boo, boo, boo.
Now they're putting on the left rear tire, putting the lug nuts on it because they weren't glued on. Pace car just approaching the start. The car takes off.
Go, 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 go. Still got the go sign. Go, go, go.
Oh, made it. He barely made it. Wow, that was close. That was close.
Well, and you think we don't have drag racing in NASCAR? 55 miles an hour. Elliott Sadler just beats the pace car. When we come back, we'll wave the green flag and have more Busch Series action from Darlington. You think you got the best seat in the house? How about this guy, Barry Bates, who's the pilot of the Pennzoil Copter Cam? Thank you so much, Barry. Those beautiful shots from high atop historic Darlington Raceway. You see that egg-shaped oval? We're talking about how one end is tighter than the other, one end's a little fatter than the other, and the banking is different. Just some of the characteristics of this racetrack that make it so very difficult for a race car driver to run one lap, much less 200 miles.
Now, one thing's going to help Elliott Sadler, as the green flag comes out, we're ready to go. He's at the back of the pack, but his teammate, Jeff Green, had already left almost half the field until that caution came out. So there's 23 cars, 25 cars being shown on the lead lap now.
So right now, the lead of the race is Mark Martin. Jeff Burton is second. Looks like Randy LaJoy is third. And Jeff Green comes out of the pits in fourth place.
Big Trickle fifth.
And we see Burton trying to get by the lap car of Nathan Buck. He can't quite make it. And he's got Tucker on his tail.
Well, Phil Parsons got caught up behind a lap car up between turns 3 and 4 and lost about 6 positions. There wasn't a thing in the world he could do about it.
Cars, Jeff Burton the 9, LaJoy giving Burton all he can handle and looking to the inside.
Oh, and now it looks like we may have an engine problem on the 4 car. Can steal some heavy smoke out of the James Finch Chevrolet.
Here's LaJoy trying to take over second place.
LaJoy qualified 11th. He says, undeniably, Darlington is my favorite racetrack. And down as he was at Las Vegas last week, the one shining moment he could think about was the fact that he was going to go to Darlington this week and race. And boy, is he ever racing in the early laps here from 11th to 3rd, and he's challenging for second.
And they're closing in on the leader, Mark Martin. There's the 99 car, Glenn Allen, the Luxair car, followed by Phil Parsons, the Channel Lock car. And now we got a crash on the back.
All right, now go hard. Get you a couple. Toss it out. Get you a couple.
That's Jeff Crow out of Idaho. Young man whose birthday was yesterday. He celebrated his birthday by crashing in happy hour yesterday on the NASCAR Busch Series. Had to go to a backup car. This is a backup car. What a nice young man he is. And we might see the reason why he spun out. And see on the left rear quarter that black mark.
Mm-hmm. Looks like he might have had a little help there, doesn't it?
Looks like a right front tire to me, rubbed up against the left rear.
That left side roof flap is still up on the 56 car of Krogh.
There we see. Here's the fellow we're talking about, Jeff Krogh, as he come off the corner. And I don't know if he has some contact with that car behind or not. Oh, there's where we might have the contact right there as he almost backed into another car.
Now, while all that was going on, let's watch Phil Parsons in the Channel Lock car number 10. Goes by Glenn Allen, makes that pass, picks up 8th place. Phil has lost about 3 or 4 positions on the first lap of the restart, so you got to be heads up all the time. Take advantage of every situation. Phil did a good job there.
And another reason why your spotter is so important, if there's a caution flag and you have cleared the caution, your spotter can say, go, 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 till you get back to the caution yellow flag and maybe pick up a couple of spots. And Phil Parsons, being the experienced driver he was, knew that the spotters on the roof there were telling him exactly what was in front of him.
Outside. Lead lap, outside.
And that's who's been working with Elliott Sadler's crew. Keith Barnwell is a Elliott Sadler car number 29.
Watch your tires, watch your speed. You're good to go.
Watch your tires, watch your
Stay
speed
below
on
the
pit
blue
road.
line.
They raise the track bar in the back of the car to help the car a little bit better handling on the racetrack.
Well, what they're trying to do by disconnecting the raceway bar, they're trying to tighten the car up a little bit. By raising the track bar, that's another step to make the car a little bit tighter. Right now, Elliott Sadler's car, the 29 car, trying to spin out all the time. very, very uncomfortable feeling, especially at Darlington.
All right, under caution for the second time today here at Darlington Raceway, still in the early laps, as Mark Martin is our leader. 38 of 147 laps are complete. Great crowd on hand under beautiful sunny skies here in the Sand Hills of South Carolina. Back with more after this. Back at Darlington Raceway, Darlington, South Carolina, under caution for the second time today when Idaho driver Jeff Krogh had a problem coming off turn 2.
We're riding along with Stevie Reeves, and Krogh is going to spin right there. Now watch as he just all of a sudden, man, comes right in, and then the black mark was already there. So it wasn't Stevie Reeves that put the black mark on, we thought.
Yes, somebody else had already tapped in a lot of heavy traffic right there.
And we are starting to hear that tire wear may be a factor. This racetrack can grind them away, right, Bill Weber?
Absolutely, Jerry. Same old Darlington, same old story on tires. This is the set that just came off Mark Martin's car. This is his right rear. Right here, a cut. Mark Martin had a right rear going down when Tim Steele brought out the caution. Now, Steve Meal, who's the team manager for Roush Racing, told me at about 28 laps, the tire wear is tremendous. In fact, some crew chiefs down here will tell you after 28 laps that the tires are just about worn out, just about to go green. Tires are going to be a big factor, and teams are looking for extra sets now as they race off into turn 1.
Well, that will have implications not only for today, but also for tomorrow's Trans-South Financial 400, the same tires we use on the heavier Winston Cup car. So a lot of people watching very closely what happens to this Busch Series today.
As they run this race today, and as the cars go across the surface and wear the tires off, they will put some rubber in this racetrack, and the tire wear will increase as cars go around this racetrack. By the end of this race, we're talking about 28 laps now, and then it might be 40 laps. And by tomorrow's 400 miles, Trans-South Financial 400, it might be 50 laps. You see McLaughlin going on the inside of Austin's car. A Royal Oak car, almost a little contact. Something like that back off.
Sawyer needs to be the one. He's at least a lap down from that first lap encounter. Herman Sadler goes by. He will go off to the Chevrolet number 1.
We'll see Ricky Craven in the 2 car that qualified so well, qualified 3rd. And he has worked his way to the front.
Left side of your screen, 109 laps to go. And there's the car number 2 of Ricky Craven. Great qualifying run in the Winston Cup race for tomorrow. And he is working traffic like a seasoned veteran here at Darlington Raceway.
The red and yellow car is Jeff Krogh's brother Mark. Right, his first race here, there he is, the 80 car, getting some experience at the old lady, Darlington. Well, she's not that old. She's only 37, 40 years old. Younger than we are, Ned.
Younger than I am, at least.
Great shot from high above Darlington Raceway, courtesy of our Pennzoil copter cam. Infield coming out the straightaway. They sort of fan out a little bit, but headed back into the turns. You sort of got to get back into single file if you want to make it through with some degree of comfort.
And here we go. Jeff Burton has caught Mark Martin. The 2 Roush cars running 1-2.
Mark probably won't fight him too much.
Mark Martin has led the last 12 Darlington Busch races. And they've only run 28 here since they opened the Busch Series back in 1982. So talk about domination at a racetrack.
The 3rd car in line, that's Greg Sachs, the Hunter's special car. That's Mike Laughlin's car. He is a lap down.
Last 7 Darlington Busch races, 5 wins, 2 a second and a 3rd.
There he just moves over and lets Jeff Burton go by. He said, hey, I don't want to wear my tires turns out you guys want to go fast, go right ahead.
You heard Bill Weber get that report about how that right rear tire was going away. That's probably the very first thing that Steve Meal and Bobby Leslie told Mark Martin. Your right rear tires are going away, so if you ride a while, and as Benny said, we get some rubber on this racetrack, they'll last longer and longer, so Mark being very, very smart. Here's Glenn Allen Jr., last year's Rookie of the Year, losing a spot to Mike McLaughlin. He drops back to 10th spot.
Dick Trickle just took 4th from the 10-3 going into turn 3 there a moment ago.
Heavy battle of cars.
Let's check in into Mark Martin pits with Bill Weber.
Jerry, I just talked to Bobby Leslie, Mark's Busch crew chief, and he said that's all we've got. After 20 laps, the tires are gone. Mark's car is not very good. He doesn't think he's in a class by himself, though. The one car they thought would be extremely strong today is the guy that's leading the race, is Jeff Burton, because those two guys ran together in final practice here yesterday. Jeff's tires did not fall off as fast as Mark's. They're out there as teammates practicing together and hopefully learn something, but Mark Martin's car definitely falls off the pace in a hurry.
99 car going backwards also, Glenn Allen. He's the Luxair Bill Papke on machine. Right side of your screen, Jeff Fuller has gone by. Ron Barfield, the 94 car, has gone by. Fuller, the 47, and now Kevin LePage in the 88 car, the David Ridling on machine. They make a move all past Glenn Allen Jr.
It's going to put him back about 16th position, Jerry. He was up in the top 10.
Tracy Leslie in the Lysol Pontiac gets on the inside and tries to take the spot away, but it's a struggle.
For the Shane Hall fans, he has gotten his balanced car back out on the racetrack. We saw him get involved in that first lap incident, had to make some repairs.
And Tracy Leslie takes his racer by Glenn Allen's car. Never see the top 10.
We're now showing 28 cars on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap is the Joe Bessie machine. That's the car number 6. Let's check in with Kyle Petty.
Well, the 99 car, when he pitted the first time, he was complaining about his car being neutral to loose, neutral to loose. They changed a little bit of the air pressure in the tires. This set of tires, he's complaining about the car plowing. He can't get it to turn. The tight car down here will kill you just as bad as the loose car. It's just like these guys have been talking in the booth all day. You don't know when to make an adjustment, when not to make an adjustment. Experience matters, and now this guy's going to get some experience driving a tight race car.
Dick Trickle, the 64 car, goes by Mark Martin, takes over the 3rd spot, and here comes the battle for the lead. We see the 45 car, starring Greg Sachs, has gotten by Jeff Burton, so now he is on the tail end of the lead lap. And the 74 car is closed in on the back bumper of Jeff Burton.
Randy DeJoy might have the best car here, or at least those that we see running up front after they have run a while. His car seems to be more stable after they've run a while than those others. Maybe his tire's not going away quite as quick as some others. And that'll be a big advantage for him.
There's Dick Trickle, just went into 3rd position here in 4 races at Darlington. He's finished 4th, 4th, 9th, and 3rd, all 4 times on the lead lap. He started 7th today. He's currently in 3rd spot, about 2 car lengths in front of Mark Martin.
And watching these cars practice here, the 64 car looked the smoothest of any car going around the racetrack. Looked like it was just floating around the racetrack. Other cars were fighting, struggling, getting loose, but the Trickle car really looked good.
Well, let's check in once again with Bill Weber.
Okay, well, Mark Martin now has told his crew that the car is too loose. They made some adjustments during the last pit stop to loosen him up a little bit, but now he feels they may have gone a little bit too far, so they'll have to tighten up that Winn-Dixie Ford on the next pit stop. So now his tires are going away, and he's loose, and we're in Darlington, and it's sunny and hot. Wow.
That says it all. Darlington, sunny and hot and loose. That says it all.
Well, the action getting hot and heavy here at historic Darlington Raceway. The track too tough to tame, and boy, even the veterans are battling this one today. 55 of 147 laps are complete, and Jeff Burton being shown as our leader. We'll be back. Back at Darlington Raceway, we approach the halfway point. as drivers trying to hang on to that one fast line. Talking about online, how about NASCAR Online? Now you can really drive on the information superhighway with NASCAR Online at www.nascar.com. You can go into the garage and get the nuts and bolts of the sport with live chat sessions from drivers and crew chiefs. That's NASCAR Online at www.nascar.com.
Now we see Stevie Reeves, the Big A Auto Parts Ford. And somewhere there's our leader. There he is, the 9-car track gear car. That's Jeff Burton.
Greg Sachs right in front of him. Greg passed Burton, as you mentioned earlier, Benny, and got back in the lead lap. He is being shown in 28th position. The car number 35 just came into the pits, Lyndon Amy. And it sounded like, in fact, he's in pit with the hood up, and Benny, it sounded like his engine was going sour.
Yeah, he's going by here. It didn't sound very good. Kyle Petty, sounds bad, doesn't it?
It sounds terrible standing here close. They took the heat shields off, checked all the plug wires to make sure one of them hadn't come off. He jumped in the car and changed ignition, but they're sending him back out. I don't think he found anything. It's going to be a long day, but at least he's going to get some laps in down here, guys.
Well, the defending Goody Dash Series champion is a rookie now on the Busch Grand National Tour of 1997. Having a tough day here early in Darlington.
Rockwell, the sponsor on his automobile. Had a good qualifying run. Qualified about 12th. Great qualifying run. There we see David Hutto, the 1995 Goodies Dash Series champion, the 24 car, being passed by Greg Sachs and Jeff Burton.
We are 12 laps away from the halfway point. 86 to go. 74 will mark the halfway. 74 remaining will mark the halfway. Of 147 laps, 200 miles here at Darlington Raceway.
Here we see Phil Parsons, the blue car, and the car number 34, Mike McLaughlin, as they come off turn 4. They're running in 7th and 8th. Boy, that wall comes up in a hurry when you come off of that turn 4.
Here it is. Here the leaders come back once again.
Right up on the back bumper of Jeff Burton there a little while ago. We thought that he might have that car, but I'm not so sure of that now. Jeff Burton's pulled away.
Well, Jeff Burton's going to be loving the fact that his tires have worked so well. His car has been so consistent for this long today, because that certainly could be an omen for his car tomorrow. And in essence, now we're seeing a reversal of somewhat of the philosophy of years past, where Busch drivers, Winston Cup regulars, didn't run many races. They're going to get run more and more because of just learning these kind of things.
Well, in a situation like we see here at Darlington, it's very important. You can learn a lot on this racetrack on Saturday that can help you on Sunday. You mentioned the difference in the weight a moment ago, Jerry. There's 100 pounds difference, and that's significant, but still it's close enough that you can learn, because they do run the same tires, exactly the same tires as the Winston Cup cars will run. There is 5 inches difference in the wheelbase of these cars, and they don't have as much horsepower as the Winston Cup. But there are enough similarities that you can learn.
There's a battle here, the car number 99 car, Glenn Allen Jr.'s Luxair machine. Tim Fedewood, the car 33, the Kleenex car. That's the other Bill Bumgardner car, the team car, Randy LaJoie. They are 17th and 18th.
And there we see Fedewood trying to get on the inside of Glenn Allen. Did not quite make it. That's Rick Wilson right behind them in the Food Country USA car. His second race back on the NASCAR Busch Series.
Now, one of the cars that was showing some speed early on, in fact, one of the quicker cars on the racetrack, was Phil Parsons. They are riding along with the channel lock in-car camera with Phil, who's currently second in the point standings. He was passing guys a little bit ago. Now, Benny, he's been passed by a couple of cars.
Yes, both Mike McLaughlin and Ricky Craven passed Phil, and now it looks like he's closing back up on the back bumper. Of course, there's a slow car there.
Well, I'm sure that Phil is, maybe his tires are worn some, but he's also looking at the big picture. He's currently sitting there in second place in the point standings, doesn't want to take any chances here, so if the car's not exactly right, sit there and ride it out until you can get in the pits and get some new tires on.
Look at that high line that Ricky Craven is running through the corner. Most all the cars running to the middle, to the bottom of the racetrack. Craven And the Rebestas car going right to the outside retaining wall.
That's Craven's car right in front of Phil there, the car number 2, and right in front of Craven's the 34 car of Mike McLaughlin. They are 7th to 8th here riding along with the 9th place machine right now. Now we'll go back up front and show you Jeff Burton, who is in the car number 9, trying to catch. He does catch the Jimmy Foster machine. Foster, the rookie driver on the Busch Series in 1997, puts him on the lap down.
Tell you what, Greg Sachs pretty impressive that over his car because he passed the leader and is staying there.
I've been wondering, where is that caution going to come out? I've done just what I need to do to get in front of him, but man, I need a caution.
There's a 74 car. And right behind him was a 64, the Duraloo machine of Dick Trickle. They are 2nd and 3rd.
He's a little up there. He's catching those guys. Unfortunately, Dick missed the Trans-South 400 tomorrow in the Howlick Myers Ford, so he wants to get all he can out of Darlington here this afternoon.
And Jimmy Foster just hit the wall up in turns 1 and 2. Just brushed the wall, gives that old Darlington stripe.
And we have gotten word from the Phil Parsons pits that he indeed is saving his tires. So Ted and Benny had talked about a race within a race. Phil knows the big picture is he's in the Busch Series, just 35 points behind leader Todd Bodine. So no need to abuse his tires and his race car and end up in the wall and losing not only a race but a championship.
And Jimmy Foster, I guess, more than brushed the wall because he's taking his car to the back pit area.
Well, Jeff Burton being shown as our leader as we are 3 laps away from the halfway point. 71 of 147 laps are complete. It is Burton, LaJoie, Trickle, Martin, and Jeff Green. Back at Darlington Raceway, exciting Busch Grand National Series action ongoing here as we are just at the halfway point. But a lot of action coming your way tomorrow. It all begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Dave Despain and company, NASCAR Today, simulcast, ESPN and ESPN2. And then Bob Jenkins will come in to host with the most, our live flag-to-flag coverage, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, the 41st running of the Trans-South 400. And the car number 88 is on pit road, Kevin LePage. Apparently, we are told the car is smoking a little bit. Show some of the water bubbling out of the right side of the hood.
Yeah, right there we see that is the overflow for the radiator. We see the water coming out. Now, that's another problem. The rubber that we grind off goes in the grill opening and plugs it up so we don't get enough air in there to cool the engines off. That's why you see in your grill stuff. Essential that the crew would get a big brush and clean that grill.
That situation has been going on for as long as this racetrack has been built.
Yes.
It just grinds that rubber off those tires, and it'll get in the grill and clean that air off and heat them up.
I saw Rodney Combs in the 74 Financial car, his first race in that all year.
There's the guy they're chasing, Jeff Burton's car number 9, the Track Gear Ford Thunderbird. These beautiful aerial shots courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam and pilot Barry Bates high atop historic Darlington Raceway in the Sand Hills of South Carolina. Beautiful day for NASCAR stock car action. Glad to have you with us. There's a second place car, Randy LaJoie, car number 74. He's just by that roof and down that 1,228-foot stretch.
He's still able to keep that car pretty low in the turns in turns 1 and 2. Most of the time when those tires get heated up, they'll slide up those banks. But if you back off enough on into that turn, it won't slide up, and he's doing a good job of driving it. Joy finished 29th last week, but he loves this racetrack, and there's why.
He's run awfully well. I think 3 top 5s in 9 Darlington races. Even though he hasn't won, he has come so very close. There's the third-place car, Dick Trickle, who finished second at Las Vegas last week, driving for Dennis Shoemaker in the Duralube Chevrolet. What about Dick Trickle, Bill Weber?
Well, Jerry, in final practice, they were pretty quick yesterday afternoon, but the team felt that this track would tighten up as the race went along. So they gave Dick a loose setup to start the race, and they said if we don't go backwards at the start, then we're going to be pretty good the rest of the day. Right now, their plan is working perfectly. The track is coming to Trickle, and Dick, who had a great run last week at Las Vegas, finishing second, is marching toward the front, running third right now.
And Steve Parks slow in Dale Earnhardt's AC Delco Chevrolet, currently running in 17th spot. He just might not make it around.
Young rookie driver who had a great run at Richmond, finished third at Richmond, Virginia. Obviously having his troubles in the AC Delco machine today. Dale and Teresa Earnhardt, the co-owners of that stuff. Oh, when it rains, it pours. The kind of luck Earnhardt's had this year. And now this car,
I think he's hit the wall. I think he's made contact with the wall.
this was about 10 laps ago, and our director and producer back it up and show us, yeah, there was some contact with another car.
Well, that might have been because the right rear tire did not have the yellow letters on it anymore. It was, you see how the sidewall is kind of yellow. The right rear on his car was black, so I thought maybe it hit the wall, but that would have knocked the paint off.
Well, the 29-year-old Steve Park will take it down on pit road, or down on the apron anyway, trying to get back to pit road. Still no caution flag in there. That was the caution that Greg Sachs would have loved to see.
Yeah, he was sort of hoping that Steve Parks couldn't coast all the way back to the pit area, but looks like he has been able to.
And see, Jeff Burton, the 9 car, has caught some traffic. Greg Sachs is still there in the 72 car. Mike Dillon is currently 23rd in the running. And Burton trying to put him a lap down, and he's under that Detroit Gaston Chevy, and yes.
Now, he was the last car on the lead lap, talking about the 72 car of Mike Dillon. Last year's runner-up in the Rookie of the Year standings. Mike has had a much better beginning in 1997 than that car number 72, the Detroit Gasket machine, but he now being shown a lap down in 23rd position. The 3 cars finally made it on the pit road, and Kyle Petty is there.
Well, they just handed me a note that said it just shut off. He came down off the corner, and the engine just shut off. They don't know if it's out of gas. They don't know whether it's ignition. They don't know what's wrong with it. They're looking under everything. One's inside the car looking at the ignition box, trying to check the connections and stuff. They don't have a clue. It doesn't seem to want to turn over.
That's Tony Urey on the near side there, bent over, looking on the left side of the engine. He is the crew chief for Dale and Teresa Earnhardt. They'll take some of the cowl loose there and take the breather off and figure out if it is an ignition problem, possibly something with the carburetor. There's the car number 9, makes a move underneath the 99 car of Glenn Allen. Now begins to work on Stevie Reeves.
And as soon as he went by Glenn Allen, he just ducked down into the pits coming off of turn 4. He said, I'm lapped, I've had enough of this, come in and get an adjustment, some new tires.
On the inside of the car number 96 of Reeves.
That'll put Stevie 2 laps down. He's being shown in 29th.
There's the Big A Auto Parts in-car camera with Stevie, former USAC Midget champion, 2-time USAC Midget champion. There's the Luxair Chevy Monte Carlo, the Bill Papke machine that Ned talked about. Glenn Allen Jr. They just finished the pit stop on that car, put some fresh tires on it. He is down and away.
And we'll see him out there passing some race cars with those new tires on it.
All those new tires will make a difference. He'll be like a rocket out there when that car gets back up to speed. Well, 85 of 147 laps are complete, and Jeff Burton continues to lead here at Darlington. Burton, LaJoy, and Trickle. Our Speed World coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Diamond Hill Plywood 200 from historic Darlington Raceway is being brought to you by Channel Lock, for you who want the best. by Texaco Havoline Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. By Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. And by the more than 1,500 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Jeff Burton, the 9-car track gear Ford, still continues to lead this thing. There he is. And Randy LaJoy is not making any progress towards the front now. And as a matter of fact, he is losing. And Jim Triple, the third-place car, is right there to challenge LaJoy.
And we saw Phil Parsons and a group of cars back there a little while ago that were sort of switching some positions around, and they're actually gaining a little bit on the leader now. They've conserved those tires and have picked up a little bit. Bill had gone about 12 seconds down. He's about 10.5 seconds behind now. But right there is a car that's been on the lead.
And Todd Bodine is in right in front of Kyle Petty.
The 36 car just stopped in the pit. They put right side tires on. They come around to the left side. They took 3 rounds of wedge out of this car. This car must be a little bit tight. They make a chassis adjustment on it. Make the pit stop. Go back out. Good stuff.
Bradley Tools crew for the Pontiac driving Todd Bodine, who is the current Busch Series point leader. Stop.
Now he just prays there won't be a caution until all the other leaders come in. Jason Keller is coming in now in the Slim Chevrolet.
He was the 11th place car. And moments ago, right in front of the leader, take a look at what happened to Tim Bender. And now again the 17 slides, and the caution will come out.
What a tough break for Todd Bodine, the points leader.
And Jeff Green had committed himself to come down pit road. Jason Keller was in the pits when the caution came out. That's a tough break. Now, Jeff Green will come out this okay, excepting he loses some positions. But Todd Bodine and the car number 57 are going to be hurt by it.
Now, a couple of laps ago, here's what happened right in front of the leader. Watch the car number 17.
There we see Tim Bender come off the corner, hits the wall. There we see the leader is right behind him. That's Greg Sachs on the inside, the green and yellow car that goes by. Now, if we were trying to see that a moment ago, this happened live going down the corner. When Jeff Burton goes up and tries to go by the 17 car, he goes up, gets the car loose, and around goes Bender, and that's the reason for the caution play.
And one more angle to that second spin for Tim Bender, who was our pole sitter at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, right in front of Jeff Burton, right behind the car number 17.
And there we see Bender try to get out of the way. When he does, he goes up the hill. When he jerks the car back left to go around the corner, he loses the back end. Around he goes. And not a lot of damage other than his pride and the 4 tires.
Well, third caution flag today. Turns out to be a break for some of those guys who wanted pit stops and wanted to change tires, but was not a break for a couple who had just come on the pit road, including our point leader, Todd Bodine. There's a Tim Bender car coming down as the leaders now make their way to pit road, led by Jeff Burton.
There we see the triple split, the 9 car, the 74, and the 64. That's 1, 2, 3 in the running order. Bill Weber.
Mark Martin getting right side tires and a chassis adjustment. The 9, the 74, and the 60 on your screen. The right side's on the 60, now around to the left, putting the fuel in. Extra man over the wall to clean a windshield. Left side's going on the 74 car. The 60 trickle is on the road. Now Mark Martin is away. LaJoy's going to beat him out of the pits, followed by Jeff Burton and Dick Trickle as well. Ricky Craven almost spins leaving pit road. Jeff Green is here. He was coming down pit road. He's getting left side tires.
All right, caution continuation. Pit service continues under the caution here for the 3rd time at Darlington Raceway. The leaders have been on pit road. Back with green flag racing action in a moment. Trackbacks are brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil for a clean running engine.
Sitting here in front of me, we have 2 transmissions. The old T10 style that everybody in Winston Cup racing has run forever and ever and ever. And the new, more modern Jericho style. Now, most of the time, the Jericho transmission is always mentioned, and race fans hear a lot about it when the Winston Cup cars or the Busch cars go to a road course. Because the way the gears are cut, this thing drops into gear. You don't even have to use the clutch. You hear these guys say, yeah, I picked up a little bit on that lap because I didn't have to mash the clutch. This was predominantly the old Ford top loader. It even says Ford on the casing. The old Ford top loader type transmission. These gears actually just clunk in the gear. It sounds terrible when you're driving one of these cars, but it really works. But what's happened is, over a period of years, Jericho has got this thing where it's all but bulletproof. You can take the top off, drop a grenade in it, it's not going to tear it up. So these guys have gone to running them on almost every speedway we run, whether it be Martinsville, whether it be Daytona, whether it be here today. Most of these cars out there have the Jericho transmissions in them.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. Under caution here at Darlington Raceway. It was spun by Tim Bender right in front of our leaders. They were able to avoid. We are showing 100 laps complete. 47 remain here in the Diamond Hill Plywood 200 Busch Grand National Series event. Back with more from Darlington after this. Back at Darlington, about to go green. Caution for 8 laps. Lap 102. Glad to have you with us as LaJoie leads them down to the green flag.
And that yellow car there is Todd Bodine. He's trying to get his left back, but isn't going to do it. Slides high, and LaJoie goes right on by.
Neal flashing by, and take a look at who's second. Oh my, that's car number 60, Mark Martin's Winn-Dixie colors right in front of Todd Bodine, and Bodine goes back by him on the inside. They touch, they rub out of turn 4. Bodine says, hey, I'm a lap down, but I'm still racing.
I get the distinct impression Mark Martin did not appreciate this.
And look at the lead that LaJoie has. Meanwhile, going down in turn 1,
there's a crash and the caution is coming out. Todd Bodine really needed to get up there, but he's not going to be able to catch Randy LaJoie.
Now Martin has gone back by Todd Bodine, and these two are racing. Meanwhile, there's a car that's come off the banking. That is the Rick Wilson Food Country car. As they are trying to slow this field down, they finally take the caution flag for the 4th time by Carl Simmons. There is the Food Country Chevrolet, the Charlie Henderson on machine of Rick Wilson.
Let's take a look at the replay on this and see if we can tell what happened. And I guess this is the 75 car. Let's roll and see if it is. We'll watch that car. He's trying to get on the inside of Elliott Sadler. Oh, and some contact between Sadler and watch him now. He's going, folks, he's going to spin all the way from here back across the racetrack and still pan the wall. That's unbelievable how far that he spun.
And everybody missed him as he came back up across the track. Of course, most of the field had gone by that time, but there still were a few cars coming down through there.
Jeff Crow came by and missed him. So did Joe Bessie. And now Rick Wilson will take the car 75 back to the garage area.
You know, we talk about the Darlington racetrack and being egg-shaped. We can almost see exactly. We're going to later on. We're going to show. This is not a very good diagram. We'll get a little bit later.
That shot from high above Darlington Raceway.
This is the backstretch, and we'll see all the work that's being done here. All new grandstands, all new suites, all new control towers, and TV booths for next year. Look at the new entrance exit there as the people going in and cars. This place is going to be very, very nice. And the reason that you see all this land back here, that's why they're doing so much work here, because they've got areas to work with. On the other side of the racetrack behind us is a road that runs right along behind the grandstand. It's just a few feet from the grandstands. There's just simply no place to expand.
This racetrack is not much farther from the main highway here than your house.
Exactly. It's about like the house.
Now we're going to show you right behind that stand there. There's where we are right there. We're in that little booth right there on top of the stands. And right behind us, there's the highway right there where the cars are running by. That's why they cannot expand the grandstand back anymore with the supports and struts and concrete braces you'd need to build. You'd be right in the middle of that road, and that would make traffic snarl something fierce here twice a year during races.
Well, to expand, they'd have to do away with the road.
Exactly.
And there's just no way to do that. So easier to go just turn the racetrack around. And all they're doing is basically putting the start-finish line on the other side.
And if you're wondering why when they built it the first time, there's a TV compound. There's our ESPN compound right there. Neil Goldberg and Mike Wells are right there and right there, side by side in the truck. Our producer and director. Unless one of them is out having a sandwich, but otherwise they're both in that little truck working. And if you're wondering why they built this racetrack egg-shaped to begin with back in 1949 when they started it, in 1950 when they finished, well, it was a very simple reason. There was a minnow pond, a favorite minnow pond.
And here it is, right up there. That is the pond that causes this racetrack to be egg-shaped. Just look at this racetrack and how much smaller it is on one end than the other end.
And a farmer said, you know, you can build a racetrack. I don't mind if you mess up my peanut and soybean field, but you better not touch my minnow pond.
So they had to narrow that turn down there to take care of that little problem.
And our Pennzoil copter cam. Yeah, he's giving us these great shots. Thank you so much, Barry Bates, who's the pilot up there with the Pennzoil copter cam, giving us these shots from high above historic Darlington Raceway. And yes, folks, that's just part of the lore. That is the central part of the Palmetto State here, the Sand Hills of South Carolina, the home of this historic facility. Getting set for green flag racing once again here under the 4th caution flag today. More Busch Series action coming your way when we come back in a moment. Stay with us. Back at Darlington Raceway, we're going to do it all over again. Randy LaJoie is going to lead him down. There's the leader. And the yellow car, Todd Bodine, the points leader, is going to try to get that lap back. It's going to be a scramble to turn 1.
And he's going to be in front of LaJoie. Can he stay there now?
Well, the last time he slid up. He was sure not to do that this time. Very careful not to slide up. Boy, he'd like to see it come through right now. So some of you guys back there tangled a little bit. Don't see the bit yet. But, of course, Todd Bodine got a lap down. Just joined us by making the green flag pit stops. A couple of laps later, the caution came out and caught him down. Everybody else went in the pits under caution. Jason Keller got caught in the same situation.
The driver who rolled out the caution a moment ago with that wild slide. Rick Wilson is standing by with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, it was a pretty wild slide there, Rick. I know you're not very happy about the conduct out there on the racetrack today.
No, I'm not really. You know, the Food Country 4, we run good all day. We didn't have a great qualifying start, but, you know, we just kept pecking at them. You know, we was on the lead lap coming up through there, and, you know, Elliott Sadler, I don't know, you know, it almost looked like something broke in his race car, but he's still out there racing. They just turned dead left into me. You know, it wasn't bad. Nobody was hurt, thank God. You know, everyone was having a good race, and put me back, you know, and that's racing.
Well, the race car is behind the wall. He's definitely out for the day.
Good to see Rick Wilson back, a multi-winner in Busch competition over the years. Having a call today here at Darlington. Boy, Todd Bodine has got his hands full. A half a car length back. LaJoie wants to put him a lap down.
Yeah. Ed, I don't know. Should he be racing Todd Bodine this hard right now?
Well, of course, he's using up his tires by doing that. He has to take that into consideration, but he also knows that Todd Bodine has a good race car, and if he stays in the lead lap and the caution comes out, well, then that's another car that he'll have to contend with later on in the race.
It seems to me like LaJoie all of a sudden said, wait a minute, this is not too smart. I'm just going to sit back here and try to ride behind Todd. Because if he uses up those tires, here's going to come Mark Martin and the rest of this bunch.
Very true. He's still, it's hard to sit there when you're not a faster race car, and it looks like LaJoie's car might be a little bit faster. Look at how he comes off the corners. Now he's going to go ahead and try to make the move. Nope, couldn't do it this time.
Meanwhile, while LaJoie is bobbing and weaving behind Bodine, Mark Martin is creeping up ever so close, and so is the car number 9 coming back there. That is Jeff Burton, who was the leader earlier. Burton being shown in 3rd spot, Trickle for it, and Phil Parsons just hanging right there in the top 5.
In fact, he just passed Rick Craven for the 5th position 2 laps ago. Craven had been a driver that was on a mission, moving from the back of the pack all the way up into the top 5 before the caution. And now LaJoie
joined us, the 74 car is the leader. The 35 is the point leader, but he is about to go a lap down, which would put him in 19th position.
Now here comes Mark Martin up on the outside of LaJoie, and here might come a caution. Is that car going to make it on?
Oh, this 43 is going to crash. Dennis Setzer, around he goes, and he doesn't hit a thing. But yes, the caution is out as Mark Crow got his car going.
And now Todd Bodine is going to race back to the start-finish line. This is the break that he needed, and Randy LaJoie is not going to be able to do much about it.
Boy, what a break for Todd Bodine, and the crew has got to be loving this. The Stanley crew excited about this for Todd Bodine. Man, Todd Bodine driving a Pontiac is a teammate for Mike McLaughlin. Both those cars owned by Frank Cece and Scott Welliver. Fifth caution flag today coming out on lap 115. LaJoie is the leader in the car number 74. Wild action coming out of turn 4 was what brought the caution out a moment ago.
The 80 car, Mark Crow gets a little bit of tap from Tracy Leslie, goes up, slaps the wall, keeps it up there, but meanwhile cars start backing off the gas, hitting brakes behind him. Dennis Setzer comes along in the 43 car right there, gets bumped, believe it or not, by Jeff Krogh, Mark's brother, which spins the 43 car up.
And Dennis Setzer does a whale of a job to get that Lance car spun around, turns the wheels back one direction, gets the car stopped.
I thought he'd hit the wall, but it didn't.
Yeah, it
didn't hit a thing.
Hit the wall hard.
Great job by Dennis Setzer. Now from Stevie Reeves' in-car camera.
He just keeps motoring away from the trouble. That's where you want to see trouble. That's where you want to see trouble, in the rear view mirror.
Got some damage on the right rear of the 36 car right in front of you, Kyle Petty.
The 36 car, these guys were as happy as any. You'd have thought the race was over with and they'd won. They put it on their last set of sticker tires. When he made up his lap, the first thing he did was radio in and say, hey, check the right front fender, check the right rear fender. Might be rubbing a little bit. I rubbed a few people to make this lap back. Regular pit stop. They're just taking their time because he's going to go to the back of the lead lap car. He's out there.
Right? Magic Shoes McLaughlin is in here in the Royal Oak Charcoal Chevrolet. They're putting right side tires on it. I just talked with Gary Cogswell, and he said they were going to try to stay out there because it is a disadvantage pitting here on the backstretch. They're currently running in the top 10. They're going to go with 4 tires and see if that can put him to the front.
I think that's here that far back in the pack. Now, those marks that we were talking about when Todd Bodine came into the pits, that came with his little encounter with Mark Martin back 10 laps or so ago.
Let's show you what happened to Randy LaJoie a moment ago. Was he about to come on the pit road or just trying to pull off a heck of a fake?
Well, you wonder. I think he was pulling the fake. And then he looked up there and saw that Mark Martin was not coming in and said, whoop, better not give up that track position.
My question is, do they have any more tires to put on?
Well, they are limited on the number of tires.
They're limited to 3 sets, and I wonder how many. I think they're out of tires, and Bill Weber, are they out of tires?
No, they've got tires. They wanted to see if anybody was going to follow them, and they also wanted to wait to the last second to see if anybody else was going to come down pit road. So Randy swung over there, then swung back, did not come down pit road. He just wanted to see if anybody would fight or if anybody else was going to dive on in here.
Now, to answer the question about the tires, I mean, they can buy tires, but NASCAR's rule is they allow you 3 sets of tires per position under caution. So that's what Bill was talking about. They still have tires left they could use under the caution flag. Now, this time by, there'd only be 30 laps to go. So if he would have pitted and everyone else would have stayed out, he would have come back out in the, 18th spot, last car on the lead lap. So under caution for the 5th time today, 116, it'll be 117 next time by. LaJoie is our leader. Back at Darlington Raceway, getting set for a restart, but before, you can really drive on the Information Superhighway. NASCAR Online, www.nascar.com. Get in the garage and get in the nuts and bolts of the sport with live chat sessions from the drivers and crew chiefs. That's NASCAR Online at www.nascar.com. Pace car is off, guys. We are set for a shootout with less than 30 to go.
And Todd Bodine, Ned, has tires that with 10 laps less than other drivers. He might have an advantage on these fellas.
Oh, I think he will, because those tires go away in a hurry and lose time on the racetrack. He can probably run a half a second a lap faster than they can for a little while. However, he's back in 18th position. So here he comes. Use those tires up. Green flag waves. Here we go.
Restart lap 120. The caution out for 5 laps. That means just 27 laps remain here in Darlington.
And Glenn Allen in the 99 car car does the same thing. He dives in front of the guy.
He gets one of his laps back. He was 2 laps down. And Martin moves right. Here's Phil Parsons making a move on Jason Keller. Keller is a lap down.
Got to wonder how much the 74 car LaJoie used up his tires trying to get by Todd Bodine a little bit ago.
And Jeff Fuller, Buckshot. Jeff Fuller, the 47 car, takes the spot away from Buckshot Jones. Meanwhile, there we see the 11 car out on the racetrack. He's back out. He placed the ball earlier. I said he was in the fence. He's now back on the racetrack. And here's LaJoie trying to look under the 99.
And this is something LaJoie doesn't need because we mentioned using his tires up. Here comes Mark Martin. He sees an opportunity maybe to take the lead. Got the preferred crew down on the inside. Boy, do they come close together. Mark Martin backs off a little bit. Here comes Jeff Burton on the outside of him.
On the move almost worked for Mark Martin. Couldn't quite get the car to stick in one. That cost him 2 spots. He goes from 2nd to 4th.
And he's thinking, if my car's good enough, I'll get it back in a little bit. Here's LaJoie now. He didn't need to be racing a lap car as hard as he was having to there to use his tires up that much. Now, certainly he's going to have to run hard to stay out in front of Jeff Burton, who dominated this race early. But you can do it in the groove that you want to. Trying to put a lap down, you're having to make moves that you don't want to make and wouldn't have to make if you were out there running by yourself, which abuses the tires.
See Phil Parsons going out the Glen Allen car. See Buckshot Jones trying to get by the Glen Allen car. He does. Here's the outside pole sitter, Jeff Green, in the 8 car as he tries to close in on the back.
Stevie Reeves did tag the wall, but he wrote about to say a moment ago. Fortunately, the car is still running, but he is not on the speed of the car 96, the Big A Auto Parts Ford. The car is flashing by from his in-car camera shot.
We'll watch this from a replay. We see him go in the corner, just go up the hill, and then what it is about that wall at turn 1, it's almost like it has a magnet in it.
It'll draw you right up there.
And then we see Todd Bodine going by with those fresh tires on that Stanley Tools Pontiac.
Todd has picked up a couple of positions. He's now in 16th.
We'll take a look at this from the onboard camera.
That is the patented Darlington stripe, a stripe of concrete that there used to be actually guardrail for an original Darlington stripe on the side of the car. There's Todd Bodine. Car number 36, he is on the move. Trying to make a move past his teammate, Mike McLaughlin, in the Royal Oak Chevrolet. Bodine drives a Pontiac. They're both owned by the same people at 34 and 36.
Coming up on Elton Sawyer, the car number 38. Elton is a lap down on his position.
You just turn left and go under the 34 car, only fresh tires will allow you to do that. Takes another spot away.
Well, but the 34 car
The 15th and 16th position, the 36 car in 15th spot.
Todd Bodine came back in after he changed the tires and made a chassis adjustment, so that might be the difference in he and the 34 car right now.
And Greg Sachs, 45 car, is on the lead lap. Battle for about 12th to 13th spot.
Take a look at some of the speeds. The 36 car of Bodine, 156.397.
Where your leader's sitting out front there running 157.9, and the second place car ran 158. But Todd Bodine in that traffic back there.
You know, we keep talking about track position. That's a classic example of track position. Yes, Todd Bodine should be the fastest car on the racetrack, but he isn't because of the traffic he's hooked up with. Now Jeff Burton's not going to try this on the outside.
Man, I don't. He looked out there.
He sure did. There we see Ricky Crane's trying on the outside.
As for fifth position, Craven in the car number 2, the very best is Chevy, takes 10th spot away from the channel lock colors of Phil Parsons. Parsons now back in 6th spot.
They're gaining on Mark Martin, who's running in 4th spot. Martin was there to have battle for the lead a little bit ago, but here is a real battle for the lead at the moment.
Randy LaJoie, car number 74. Reigning Busch Grand National Series champion, Jeff Burton in the car number 9. That great run we documented at Richmond, Virginia, led on almost 250 laps at Richmond. Led over 200 laps at Richmond, starting 41st. Dick Trickle is in the 64 car with here. Here comes the battle. There comes Craven, who's already made a move past the car 60 of Mark Martin.
And he's using that power groove that you talked about, Benny. I think that's how he got it running. Here's a crash.
Up in turn 1. 45 car of Sachs. There we see Elliott Sadler, the 29 car, the pole sitter. He's involved.
And Mike
All right, Sandy, we got the left front, Andrew.
And caution for the 6th time. There come the leaders flashing by. There is the Greg Sachs car. The Hunter Specialties car owned by Mike Laughlin. Sustaining some damage. A 29 car also involved of Elliott Sadler, who was the pole sitter. And watch the 36 car, yellow car, right side of your screen.
There to see the 29 and the 45. Looks like they're going to make contact. Yep, the 29 drifts up the hill, just touches the 45.
Mike McLaughlin had nowhere to go in the car number 34 and right into him, where Todd Bodine was able to cut left, go under him, and motor on by.
Hermie Sadler and Todd Bodine in the 1 and 36 cars. It's a prime example of sometimes you want to be as close to the wreck as you can possibly be without being involved in it. That way you can pick and choose where you want to go. There's the guy who was the unfortunate one in that incident. That was, as you said, Ned, he had nowhere to go. Mike McLaughlin's Royal Oak crew now going to work down there right in front of Ray Dunlap.
Well, guys, the damage is all in the front end. You see the crew members jumping up on the hood to try to get it done. It doesn't appear that it's hurt the motor a great deal, but they're going to take the Royal Oak charcoal car behind the wall to work on it.
We see the water on the pit road there, Ray. He has broken the radiator in the car, so that's why they got to take it behind pit wall.
There's Elliott Sadler, who was our pole sitter. Remember, those cars were on the lead lap, so by virtue of their getting involved in an incident, that puts Todd Bodine just that much closer. There are the cars involved: Elliott Sadler, Mike McLaughlin, and Greg Sachs. The 3 that were involved bringing out the 6th caution flag today. All 3 lead lap cars.
Let me know about the pace car.
Up in 13th spot.
Going into 3. Going into
Under
3.
caution at Darlington Raceway. Back with more of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series action after this. Laps winding down at Darlington Raceway, Darlington, South Carolina, under caution. Now, a lot of concern from some of the teams. Let's check in first with you, Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm here with Tommy Morgan. You guys are really, really good on long runs, and you seem to dodge all the cars. But what's that little piece of debris sticking out of the grill in that thing? You couldn't dodge it.
Well, it looks like something come off the 29 car when he wrecked over there, and a piece of debris went flying up to it. We should be all right, though.
All right, they think they're going to be all right for the last 4 or 5 laps. Bill Weber?
Steve Bird, this has turned into several short races instead of one long one. Is that helping or hurting Randy LaJoie?
That's hurting us, no doubt. Burton's a lot better on the restarts here. We probably geared a little wrong for the restarts, but I think we could beat him if we could stay ahead of him getting into 1 here.
We're about to find out. Cars coming through 4 to get the green.
All right, single file restart. That's the rule in the final 10 laps. They call it the 10-lap rule, but there's only 6 to go. We'll use it anyway. Green flag waves back in Darlington. LaJoie, you heard from a crew chief, Steve Bird, a moment ago. They don't know if they can hold off Burton or not. Here comes Burton.
He said if he could beat him into turn 1. Well, he beat him into turn 1, but as you say, here comes Burton. He's got a run coming off of turn 2. Boy, does he have a run.
Joy moves over to block, and meanwhile, the battle for 3rd spot is Craven. Goes by and takes over that 3rd spot, Bob Strickland. Here comes Mark trying to the inside.
But Mark couldn't quite do it.
5 to go, this time by. And a scramble at the front. The twosome about 7 car lengths in front of Craven in 3rd spot. There's Phil Parsons, the channel lock car, being shown back in 6th. Now a challenge again for 3rd. As Burton comes to the outside for the lead, down the inside for the lead.
that really, he lost a lot of momentum right there.
Craven took over the third position. Craven trying to get it back, but you're right, Benny. That did cost him a lot of momentum making that move, but you got to do it. You don't have much time.
Now Burton's running that high line off the corner.
Really getting a good run off of that corner.
Joe Craven tags the wall coming off turn 2, bounces off the concrete. He is slow. He will lose the position. His car is slowing. There'll be 2 laps to go this time by. Now his cars move by on the inside of Ricky Craven.
So that moved Mark Martin up to 4th, Phil Parsons to 5th, Buckshot Jones to 6th.
See Todd go down the yellow car, points leader, and take on another spot.
That should move him up to 10th.
LaJoy the leader, white flag this time by, trying to hold on. Jeff Burton in a Ford. LaJoy, the Fina colors, owned by Bill Bumgardner, out of turn 4 for the next to last time in the white flag waves.
You can rest assured that Jeff Burton's going to pull off everything he can right here. He's got that high groove working again, coming off of that turn. He's got himself a run. A good run this time, Jerry.
Burton on the inside, they head for 3. They're less than a half a lap to the checkered flag. LaJoy will back off and come downstairs.
He's seen Dale Earnhardt do that so many times, and it worked.
Now Burton's going to try to do the same thing. But he's not going to run up with LaJoy.
LaJoy takes the victory. Jeff Burton second. Yeah, they are celebrating down in the Fina pit, and Bill Weber is there.
This team has struggled the last 2 weeks after a big win at Daytona. Bill Bumgardner, you're back at victory lane, and your man was on a mission.
Absolutely. We were kind of embarrassed with Las Vegas, the people at Orleans. We wanted this race real bad. Randy said he wanted to win more than 5 this year. He circled this on his calendar as one of the races he wanted to win.
This is the furthest you've been deep in the points since a long time ago last year. Obviously, you wanted to make a move up.
We really want to keep the points. We really want to get back in the front. Maybe this did it for us. I don't know. We just want to be at it all year. We'll take them one race at a time.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Very proud owner, Bill Bumgardner, proud of his 35-year-old driver, Randy LaJoy, who started his car back in 11th spot, takes the victory. His 7th career win coming in his 104th start. It's the Diamond Hill Plywood 200 here at the track, Too Tough to Tame. And it didn't come easy. What a challenge he got those last few laps from Jeff Burton. As LaJoy will head to victory lane, we will come back to Darlington Raceway and talk to him and some of the other principals that gave us a well of a show. NASCAR Busch Grand National style. Back with more from Darlington in a moment. Our ESPN Speedboat coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Diamond Hill Plywood 200 has been brought to you by Briggs & Stratton, your #1 source of power. Make sure all your outdoor power equipment has a Briggs & Stratton engine. By Quaker State Motor Oil for a clean running engine. And by the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. Well, let's go down to victory lane. Bill?
And Randy LaJoy in victory lane here at Darlington. Well, you had a great run at Daytona, but you've been missing in action for a few weeks, but welcome home.
What a way to get back home. It's, well, I'd like to dedicate this to the Nemechek family. You know, they lost a son last week with John. He was a friend of ours, friend of racing. I'd dedicate this win to him. But, you know, just when we got Mark Martin beat, he sends a teammate on us. So, I'm not sure what happened to my teammate, but we had a Fina Chevrolet Monte Carlo here in Victory Lane with a great race team behind us. You know, last week, I got to thank the Orleans Hotel last week out in Vegas. Boy, they were great to us. Maybe they were too good to us, and I slacked off a little bit. But Darlington's been one of my favorite racetracks. I learned this place from Jack Ingram, so I got to thank Jack. He taught me how to run this place.
Who taught you that crossover move here with Burton in the closing lap?
I used to watch that on Sunday. I'm on the couch. All those Winston Cup guys do that. So I figured they can do it, I can do it.
What were you thinking, Randy, when he was coming down the backstretch? Because he looked like he might be able to catch you.
I did. I mean, he was good. I mean, that was the only hope I had to take him in, and hopefully he drifted up. Because he would have brake checked me, we both would have wrecked, but he didn't, and he slid up, and I got underneath him. It's just a tribute to this race team and this race car and these guys on this team.
Well, congratulations. I know this means a lot to you. Pick up a lot of points.
Well, we like wins, too, so this is another one. We'll take the points, too.
Randy LaJoie in victory lane here in Darlington. Let's go back up top.
Well, what about the guy who gave him what a challenge for that win in those last couple of laps, Jeff Burton. My heavens, great effort by Jeff Burton and his track gear Ford Thunderbird. He's climbed out of the car in the backstretch, and our Ray Dunlap is caught up with the second-place finisher.
Jeff Burton, that was a wild finish there. Looked like Dale Earnhardt racing out there with Randy LaJoie. What was going on out there?
Well, I knew what Randy was going to do. I just, it's open, you know, when you go by somebody like that, that hole is open. Randy did a good job. He knew what he needed to do. I knew what he was going to do. I didn't know how to stop him. So we got behind there on the pit stop. We had an overheating problem. They had to take some tape off of it. But this track gear Ford runs good every week. We'll get our wins. I feel like I lost this one for them, but we'll get them next week.
All right, Jeff Burton finishes second here at Darlington after 147 laps, 200 miles. Our AutoZone race recap, the winner, Randy LaJoie, led 54 of 147 laps. There were 5 lead changes, 7 caution flags for a total of 36 laps. The average speed down because of those 7 caution flags, 115.587 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Jeff Burton led the bulk of the race, 46 laps. Jeff Green, 29. LaJoie, 21. Mark Martin, 17. Elliott Sadler led a lap. He was the pole sitter. Look at our final results here. 200 laps complete. LaJoie takes the win. Jeff Burton in second. Dick Trickle was third. Mark Martin fourth. And Phil Parsons in fifth with the car number 10. Buckshot Jones finished sixth. Jeff Green seventh. Tracy Leslie eighth. Jeff Fuller ninth. And Todd Bodine rounding out the top 10.
16th through 30 this afternoon, Greg Sachs survived to finish 16th after that crash. You see Elton Sawyer on down the line to the 30th spot, Stevie Reeves in the 96 car.
And you see most of those on this page had trouble, many of them out of the race as a result of accidents or whatever.
Well, 35-year-old Randy LaJoie certainly makes up for that disaster in the desert last week in Las Vegas. Climbs back into the point standings. Todd Bodine hangs on. Phil Parsons back by just 14 points. There's LaJoie in third. Green and Martin rounding out the top 5. Tomorrow's coverage, our live flag-to-flag coverage, comes up at 1 o'clock. Bob Jenkins will be here at 12:30 p.m. We begin with NASCAR Today with Dave Despain. For Ray Dunlap, Bill Weber, Kyle Petty, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating Randy LaJoie. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.